Today's show was recorded live at The Refinery, Charleston's hub for creative industry. Go to therefinerychs.com to get events, venue, and contact information. Now on with the show. Hey everybody, welcome to the Shrimp City Report. My name's Devin. I'm joined today by co-host DJ. How you doing today?
I'm kind of struggling lately.
What's that?
I'm a young, millennial,
Yes.
and I find it's hard to find the money to get into the housing market nowadays.
Yeah, or what's even going on in housing these days?
And I don't know what to do. I need some advice.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I could also use some captaining advice. So luckily, we're joined by Matt Galvin today of agent-owned real estate and a man of other talents and endeavors.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Matt?
Doing pretty fantastic, y'all. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we met Matt through some business.
Yeah.
And talking to him just casually about real estate, and then also about his other part of his life. He's done some interesting stuff, and we're going to try to hit on a few of those. And so, Matt, where are you from?
So I'm originally from Colorado,
Mhm.
about 8,500 feet up in the mountains.
Right.
Born and raised, but I've lived here in Charleston for almost 25 years now.
Oh, okay. So I guess we have to talk there's culture shock or at least environment shock.
Yeah.
Sea level shock.
A little bit, definitely. It's hard to say which one's better because it's not better or worse. It's just best of both worlds, right? Coastal and mountains.
Yeah.
But love being by the water here.
Did you go to a lot of beaches like in Colorado ever in like vacations or anything like that?
For vacations, yeah, we would go on family vacations to the beach, other places where there were palm trees.
Yeah.
Good.
Absolutely enamored by palm trees. Flip-flops year round here, and palm trees
True that.
did it for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful day today, and it might get towards 60, but, the sun's out. And it's fantastic. On the day that we're recording, God knows what it'll be in 3 days. So,
Right?
So I presume you went to school out there. What exactly was the town?
So I did. I went to Colorado State University in Fort Collins.
Oh, so you went to Colorado State. Okay.
Yeah. So that was really great. Got a degree in natural resources, recreation, tourism.
Mm-hmm.
Had always wanted to sort of have my own outdoor adventure travel
Right.
business. And I thought it would be more Colorado based, but when I moved here, visited here, just put a spin on it and started a private yacht charter business.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You said when you visited here, what was the occasion? Were you just stopping by or?
No, so I was down in the Florida Keys running a dive shop for school, doing an internship there, and I had visited friends for a weekend, and that's when I was like, okay,
Yeah.
flip-flops year-round and palm trees. I'm sold.
Man, that's pretty cool. Who gets to intern at a dive school or a dive store? That's pretty good. Most people are trying to intern at Boeing or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really great opportunity in Marathon,
Mhm.
learning the front end of the dive business, and eventually parlayed that into the business that we started here, which was Coastal Yacht Charters, and built that up and ran it for about 6 years, and was fortunate. Somebody made us an offer and sold the business and made a few dollars on it.
Yeah.
Has still been boating since.
Yeah. So was that, I guess, just as it speaks, yacht charters, taking folks out, or did you have any kind of programs or?
We did.
Yeah.
We did. And it was something that evolved over a period of time, but we did
sure.
find that there was a niche with private yachting here and being able to show Charleston and have folks see Charleston
I
from
guess
the water.
so. Yeah. I mean, that seems like it would be a no-brainer. There's a lot of water here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of bridges too, man. How long have you been in Charleston? You said 20?
So almost 25 years now.
Okay, so you have 25 years. So, frankly, you're native at this point. Once you put in 25 years, I think you can go, well, at least you're a Charlestonian at that point. You really got a grasp of the area, right? The low country, doing business and stuff. I presume that is helpful with real estate.
Well, it absolutely is. And being around the low country and the waters and seeing Charleston from the water.
Yeah.
Like you said, over a period of time, you really start getting comfortable with the different areas and whatnot. And so real estate became part of my life. And now it's a balance between boating and real estate.
That's pretty good that you can do both. Real estate, you're with agent-owned real estate?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so do you have a lot of latitude to pick and choose your gigs or the houses or the properties?
Yeah, there's a fair amount of latitude, and a lot of it also just depends on who your clients are, if you're representing the seller or if you're representing buyers. And so, yeah, it just depends on what people are looking for. But there's all kinds of different options out there.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about, because I guess to TJ's point, young millennial wants that starter home.
Yeah.
Right.
There's more out there than just housing, I suppose. And there's going to be I hate to say affordable housing, but I'm sure that luxury homes are very popular in Charleston as well. What's a trend in Charleston, or that you can, put a finger on, as far as what are people buying now?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you bring up a good point, for an affordability standpoint. Here in Charleston, the greater Charleston area, if you will, we refer to Lee County, Dorchester County, and Charleston County. And that's kind of the Charleston market, if you will. Right now, we're seeing that the medium home sale price to date for the Tri-County is right around mid 500s. And just like you're saying, it can go way up from there on the luxury waterfront stuff. And it can go down a little bit lower too if you're further inland and maybe looking at smaller duplex, townhome condos, something like that, versus an actual home like house.
That's cool. Yeah, because first thing comes to my mind is a freestanding house right there. But condos, townhomes, duplexes,
Yeah, and just, it just depends on where you want to live, right? If you want to be east of the Cooper, it's going to be a little bit more. You might be looking at a townhome or a condo for a starter. Well, but again, lots of different options out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of new stuff in development too, as well.
We see so many houses getting built, kind of wonder where the people coming from, why are they coming here? Why does it keep getting built? Surely you have to study that for the migration in.
Absolutely. And we do. And they just recently, the CTAR, which is our local group of realtors here, they just brought in a guest speaker, this is 2-3 weeks ago, and he's a professor. And so he came in and did it was about an hour, just diving into the market and where we're at and why things are doing what they're doing. And we're seeing that we're in this little bubble. Charleston has a very, very strong market here.
Right.
And it's being driven by job growth. And again, like you were saying, people moving in. And so we don't have any shortage of folks moving in. I think it was 53 people a day last time I checked, but I haven't updated that number. That's not
but
a fact
still,
of today, but
that's pretty profound for the Tri-County area that there's that much coming in. And
I'd also be fascinated just to see what the projection curve is like now compared to like 10 years ago as well. Because I know tourism has been a big indicator of people wanting to move here as well.
Yeah, surely. They're paying taxes, higher taxes in other states and all that. But dude, you can't discount how pretty it is around here.
You can't. Exactly. We're surrounded by water. It's absolutely gorgeous. I can tell you guys just one stat here.
Yeah.
Before it came on, I checked the number of active listings, and we're at today 4,809. And so that's a pretty balanced market,
right? Yeah.
Versus what it was kind of pandemic days, where I think at one point there were only, in 2022, 912 homes on the market.
That is wild.
Wow. So that's good news, and it's good news for buyers. I think right now, especially with having the balanced market, it's sort of softened a little bit, and coming into spring, it's always a great time to buy. The homes show really well. There's always that good energy in the air.
Okay.
And
I was wondering if there's a trend as far as times of year, or I guess, don't they say a lot of cars are sold at the end of the year for taxes or something? But spring, the yards are looking better.
Well, that's exactly it.
People are loosening up. Yeah.
Starting, spring fever, and everybody's, feeling good. That sort of good energy in the air. And
okay. Well, you talked about seminar where you're learning stuff. Or does any realtor, real estate agent, I guess I'll say that, do the agents have to study a lot? Do you have to really keep abreast of anything? I know there's tons of podcasts out there for real estate.
Yeah, there are. And I think most successful real estate agents are pretty dialed in. And you're always researching, you're looking at the data, you're looking at the trends, and you got to stay on top of that for sure.
Cool.
And it's fun stuff too. So.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I would think it would be kind of fun. It's business, it's marketing, it's everything you can think of. Plus, it's tangible. It's not the same thing every day, right?
It's never the same thing
See,
every day.
that's kind of cool. In different homes, it's not like you're married to one house you're trying to sell for 8 months. I suppose you have several that you might be juggling at one time.
Yeah, and it's fun to go see what's out there.
Yeah.
Also, I think most good real estate agents, they've got their finger, on the trends and the inventory
Mm-hmm.
and what's selling, what's not, where's the good buys and that sort of thing. Everybody's always looking for a good deal. And I think it's kind of actually favorable to buyers right now.
Yeah.
Is what I'm seeing.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned the 4,000 plus on the current listings. Are there that many they're buyers, of course. But yeah, if it's still cool for sellers, that's great, because a lot of folks, as I understand, don't want to sell a house, even if they could get a nice chunk of change for it, because if they're turning over into a new house, I've been hearing that some folks are kind of adverse to new mortgages if they already had something locked in. But I presume the mortgages have they come down a little bit?
Well, they have, and that's part of the reason that we're seeing it pretty favorable right now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they've just in the last 2 weeks, we're in the 5s now, and so that helps buyers. It's good for buyers.
Yeah, absolutely. Because a few years ago, when we're pushing 7, nobody was going to want to go into that. So that's really cool, comfortable or comforting.
Yeah.
To think that you can get a loan.
So
Yeah,
we kind of briefly went over your transition from boating and more outdoor lifestyle type work to real estate. But I guess, did you have like a background in real estate before you jumped into Charleston, like real estate?
Did you ever dabble? In
How old did you get like started in the interest of it?
well, I think just being in business, it's part of just the general interest, if you will.
Yeah, sure.
And then taking guests around Charleston by water, oftentimes we're going and we're seeing the pretty big houses, the pretty big homes.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was lots of interest. Hey, how much is something like that? Or where's this? Or how can we get here? Or
so getting like really familiar with the landscape then and everything.
definitely.
Yeah, and so you already had that business acumen, I guess, talked about. When you're trying to sell property or trying to lure someone, I don't mean lure, that sounds predatory. When you're trying to encourage someone to be in the area and have a house, is it pretty cool to have a boat that you could possibly, or would you ever do that with a client? Take them out and about in the harbor?
Absolutely. And I do that often. And so,
oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, with some of the waterfront homes, to really sell the experience. And that's what I think a lot of people that are moving down here that are affluent, that type of client, they want to be on the water. And a lot of people are boaters or they want to be boaters.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, by all means, it's one of my favorite things to do is pick up clients and, take them out for a day of boating. But we're also going to do and show listings and see houses where we're coming up and we're docking, and they get that experience, and they get to, instead of going in the front door, we come by boat, go up the dock and head in that way.
I mean, that's a good wow factor.
It's a good wow factor, and it's a unique experience because, again, a lot of people want to be on the water, but it's pretty cool, pretty unique when you can roll up on these nice houses in a nice boat.
Yeah, because real estate, I mean, it's not like you're selling stereos in a shop. I mean,
Definitely not.
It's a whole different kind of engagement and, relationship that you end up having with people.
Yeah.
It is, and it's fun. It's great getting to know people. I'm a people person anyways. And I can tell you, when you're on a boat, whether you're out just with friends or doing what we're doing, it's an intimate experience, and you're getting off at the end of the day, either best friends or, mortal enemies. And it's rarely the latter. So it's pretty fun. That brings
up a good point. Do you have to be a people person to be a real estate agent? Do you know any real estate agents that have like a good like front face, but then afterwards they're just like, don't want
I mean, I think you do need to have a little bit of that element, especially for the residential side.
Yeah.
People like to do business with people they like. Yeah. Right. And so if you don't have that ability to be nice or whatever, smile, nobody is going to want to do business with you. And that's, on the more of the residential side. I think maybe commercial side, maybe could be a little bit different.
Where it's all business. Yeah.
It's all business.
Yeah.
It's still all about building relationships, and you're still working with folks, but I'd say residential is a little different.
Yeah, because I'm working with folks. Possibly it could be a person that will be a client again for you. So I guess it's great to build that kind of relationship. Speaking of relationships and getting along, did you come from a big family or?
Not a huge family.
Yeah.
It was my sister and I and my mom and dad, so one sibling.
Okay, cool. So you didn't have to engage with a bunch of siblings and go hard scrabble or anything?
Not on that. Big family with cousins, aunts, and uncles and stuff, but immediate family was fairly small. So
skiers? Did y'all go skiing and stuff?
Grew up skiing.
Yeah, man. I guess you miss that right now, though.
I do miss it a little bit, for sure.
Yeah.
It's fun to go recreate in Colorado or go skiing. That's one thing, we don't have here. We can go water skiing, but that's a little chilly right now. So.
Yeah. Recreating and recreation, another great selling point of the Low Country with all the soccer fields, the hunting, the fishing, the boating, the surfing. There's just a million things to do. So hell, that kind of sells itself as well.
It does, and again, we're in this really great, unique, super awesome place in the world. People come visit all the time. And I think, just part of the reason you can see how there's a lot of new development and a lot of trend for, let's say, east of the Cooper going north a little bit.
Yes, it is.
There's Cape Romaine Wildlife Refuge.
Yeah.
Boom. That is, pristine, protected lands, marshes. Same thing with the Francis Marion National Forest. So there's a tremendous amount of outdoor recreation to be had here, and it can.
So to DJ's earlier statement again about millennials and buying, what's in the Tri-County area? It doesn't have to be an entire county, but what is a good area for folks wanting to look for starter homes, or is everywhere peppered with possibilities?
What are the hot spots? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, where do you go to buy a reasonably, what areas are more common for that?
So it just depends on personal preference and price point and budget.
Yeah.
There are a lot of options out there, and it comes down to personal preference.
Yeah.
But really, I'd say more in Charleston County.
Okay.
Is okay for that. When you start looking at east of the Cooper, it's going to be a little bit harder to find that starter home. With a budget, with a smaller budget for a first-time home buyer. But when you start looking at Somerville, just kind of a little bit further out from downtown Charleston proper, if you will. But when you work with a good sales agent, real estate agent, they'll find you one. They're still out there. They're available.
So, like with your agency, y'all walk through different options. Then it's not something where, well, I don't know. Do you get people that come to you and we're like, I know exactly what I have in mind, like this house, this house, this house, or is it something where y'all kind of start looking through stuff together?
So that's a great question, and it's a little bit of both. Some folks, they've done their research and they're like, hey, I want to see these 3 homes. These are the only ones that we're considering. Can you show them? Sure, no problem. Also, I like to talk to people with that consolatory approach where, hey, let's find out what you really want. What do you like? What are the numbers?
What drew you to this house or something like
exactly.
that? Yeah.
And then sometimes just, a good real estate agent will find additional options, usually.
Yeah.
And that's where, the value of a real estate agent comes into play. So
yeah, and an educated one. And I don't mean like education, but I mean seminars, trends, reading, getting to know the Tri-County.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to know the area. I know what you're selling.
If I get online and I'm like, oh, I like that house in Bono Beach or something, and I'm hoping I'm going to have a real estate agent that even knows how to get there.
Yeah.
So I guess with so many housing starts, it seems like there's new neighborhoods, new developments being built every time I'm driving around. I presume new housing is the lion's share of sales, right?
I say that that's fairly accurate.
Okay.
The new home construction for the greater Charleston area, it's definitely, it's a big chunk of what's being sold. for
Okay.
sure. The new developments next in places like that.
I gotta say, is it a lot to take in, because all the information just overflooding with like new areas of development and stuff like that? It seems like you would overload my brain having to keep this information in.
It's a lot to keep up with for sure,
Yeah.
because there's new stuff coming on the market all the time.
Yep.
But again, I think the good agents out there, they keep their finger on the pulse.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at the data, they're doing the research, and they're staying plugged in so that they do know where those new developments are. And some of the the new construction, it's a good option for first time home buyers, 100%, because they'll have in-house pricing, so to speak. They do all kinds of promotions right now to try and bring down some rates, so they'll even buy a point or something like that to help bring that down to make it easier for you to get into a home. And they've got the power to do that, for sure.
So I guess you have to foment a relationship with them too.
Absolutely. Lenders, lending and getting the money, that's a huge chunk of the pie, so to speak. We use Prosperity Mortgage in-house, and it's a great company. Right now they're offering some of that lower rates, actually in the 4s. For the first year.
Fantastic.
Or they're providing closing costs. And so it's just, that is, like you said, a big portion of this overall piece part of buying real estate and selling real estate.
Yeah. It's still an investment, right? It's a good investment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a great investment.
Yeah.
Stop renting and putting your money towards somebody else and get into a home where you can, build some equity in it. And eventually, start building wealth. Yeah,
the rents are getting bananas here, and I guess it's a trend throughout the entire country.
Yeah, it is. It is, and the rental market here is strong too.
Oh yeah,
it's definitely strong. And as far as real estate, we're seeing quite a bit of second home purchases or investment property purchases to see that rental income coming into someone's portfolio. Okay. So that's always a good option too.
So one thing, when I was doing a little bit of research in here, I never really thought about it. I guess there's certain times in the economy or whatever where houses go quickly, a bidding war. As soon as a house gets on the market, everybody wants it, and you got to try to beat them. Do you see that kind of 24-hour turnover these days? Or
so that's a great point. Great question. And everybody who lives in the area is familiar with when that was happening. That was kind of pandemic-ish, a little bit post-pandemic.
Right.
We're not seeing that as much right now. I think it's a balanced market between your sellers and your buyers, but at the same time, the days of listing a property and within the first few hours or first day or two, you have multiple offers, multiple cash offers. We're not seeing that as much today.
Okay.
Definitely not. And that's where it also, it helps buyers right now. It's a good time for buyers because it's balanced out. So you're not seeing these sellers have 5 different offers off the rip. And so what that does, makes it a little bit easier for an agent to negotiate some of those seller concessions, like at closing costs. Can you put down another $10,000 for closing costs? And that helps the buyer.
Okay.
So the buyers they've got a little bit more. It's a little more favorable to them right now.
We're advocates for Charleston, and we're also advocates for keeping people here and bringing folks here. And it's nice to know that, you can now, all the rates coming down. You're talking negotiations, that lenders are having a little bit of give. Sellers are having a little bit of give.
They are. And so it's nice. And it's a nice balance right now, because the days of, putting your property on and selling in a day with multiple cash offers. I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
It makes it easier for first-time home buyer like yourself to get in there.
For this episode, of course, we are at the 30,000 foot level of topics at this point. I mean, we could, in the future might be going deeper on some of these things. I think it's a great way to get kicked off and started, get people interested in what's going on with real estate. Hey everyone, we really want to encourage you to visit the Refinery in Charleston, South Carolina. The Refinery is a beautiful mixed-use facility that's home to upscale office space, 2 restaurants, the Limbo Lounge, and an amphitheater that hosts national, regional, and local acts year-round. We cannot recommend it enough. Go to therefinerychs.com to get event and venue information. You can also go to the site to learn how you can even book the spaces you want for your own event. So go check them out, and thanks. But what's a development company that we see around here that builds a lot of houses?
Maybe like DR Horton, for example.
Okay, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard that around. So yeah, those entities, I guess, are kind of self-sustaining for a lot of times.
Yeah, they've got it pretty dialed in.
Mhm.
You know, that model, they've got that model figured out. It's pretty good. For the new home construction, you walk in and again there's an in-house agent that helps guide you,
Yeah.
you know, help you, figure out which new home construction is right for you guys, and then you can do all the add-ons and all that stuff. And it's the level market, which is nice right now. It's good for buyers and it's good for sellers.
Okay.
And as we're coming into spring, turning the corner, as we know, Seaweed just happened, Southeastern Wildlife Expo, this last weekend. To me, that sort of kicks the season off.
Oh, that's like
really?
the indicator.
Yeah,
Okay, that's awesome.
the indicator.
Yeah.
So once Seaweed hits, it's about to be on.
Man, you know that tons of people come in for the Southeastern Wildlife Expo, Seaweed, and not from here.
Not from
They go
here.
to that cool expo and they're staying down in the city or something, or I presume they're getting out and doing a little bit of outdoorsy stuff, watching the
dogs chase after the frisbees.
Yeah, and the raptor demonstrations and stuff. And they're probably like, okay, I want to live there.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the reason why Charleston is so great.
Yeah.
You're seeing such growth, and it's sustainable growth too.
So you've been doing any boating recently?
I have.
Yeah.
We went out just a couple of weeks ago. It was in, December. It was like 84 degrees.
Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, what temperature was it? Because literally, I'm sure the day after is like 51 or something like that.
Yeah, it was a beautiful day. And then recently, we took one of our private yachts down to Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
And that was nice as well. It's a really nice trip.
Awesome.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, let's start doing some wrap ups. Let's talk about all of the methods that we can contact you, either for real estate or for any boating endeavors.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
So if you want to get on the water, we'd be delighted to get you out. Charleston Classic Yachts. That's the operation that I run with. Not only as a licensed captain, but as a big proponent of basically creating unique yachting experiences and getting people on the water. So that's Charleston Classic Yachts. And then through agent-owned realty here.
Okay.
And then on my website, which is mattgalvin.agentowned.com.
Okay, excellent. All right, well, that's perfect. We'll get in touch. I presume we will chat again, and maybe then we'll talk some more boating and whatnot, because, my only experience with it, boating, is watching Below Deck.
That would be great. Would love to do that.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate you coming by, and we will be talking to you again. And thanks for the knowledge.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all so much. And from docks to doorways.
Right on.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I love that. We'll make sure to put that in the show notes too.
Okay.
We need a catchphrase too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll work on that between shows.
Team effort.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming by the Shrimp City Report. We'll have show notes on this one, all the links you need to have on the website, and y'all have a good week. God bless.
Bye.